What's the plan for today? Big boss man.
We've been trying to reach you concerning your...
So we're working on a survival crafting game. Open world survival craft. The best genre known to man.
Kind of feels like playing Plants vs. Zombies.
I've been working on this for like a year now at this point in an excellent programming language called Jai. We're currently at 16,000 lines of code in the single main file. We ain't splitting up our code into different files, okay? That's cringe. Shrek. So basically, like, my goal here is to make an entire game within the confines of a one-dimensional space and try and, like, explore the entire design space of what actually makes an open-world survival game good. How do we make that, right? That's the goal. And you're joining us at a pretty good time because in 30 days, 13 hours, and 43 seconds from now, I don't think there's any Steam docs on, like, what's coming up. So this might be a leak, and I might be on the NDA right now, but, like, please don't sue me. But basically, in that time, am I allowed to even leak this? I don't know. Shh, don't tell Gavin, boys. There is an open world survival craft fest coming up on Steam. That's huge if you make it through. I've already made it through, so we're gonna be in it. At this point in time, it's basically a game of like, how good can we make the game in the next 30 days? That's what we're shooting for. Specifically, in this vid, in this stream, Shrek. Yeah, Shrek. So, I've been doing a lot of playtesting. This guy, the homie Ison, played it for around 26 minutes. Yeah, he pretty much got to the end of the content in 26 minutes. So, we gotta make things, like, beefier, right? And I thought, what better way to beef it up than Shrek, the king of beef himself. Yesterday, we got the basics of Shrek in the game, right? Shrek. Look at him, dude. Look how chunky he is. So we've got just some basic animations and AI for some of the moves that he's going to pull off. Like the big jumpy jump. We also have the bonk and the ground stomp. Today, what we're going to do is basically just make them actually hit. Because right now, there's zero hit feedback. We don't die. So obviously got to get that in, right? Screen check would be nice. I agree. We're going to do the whole shebang. Right? We need to figure out the frame in which he hits. What is the hit frame? Not that one. This guy. The smash. Bonk. 97. So the first thing I want to do is just like getting that event firing off, and then we can add like a hitbox thing to it, right? I guess we'll just do like a debug hitbox. Like we'll actually just get the hitbox down. So what is the hitbox going to be like? I'd say this. All the way up into the sky. So what is that? 85 by 167. And the pivot is going to be equal to the, I'd say bottom left. And if he's facing the other way, then we just range flip X, I think. And then debug rect. That should give us what we're after. Slow down. Slow-mo. Let's see. Okay, not the right frame. We haven't shifted the position. We have to flip it first and then shift. I always forget to do this. There we go, look at that. That was the hit frame. Bang, look at that hitbox. Easy win. Oh my god, we got 30 days. No more distractions, boys. Quick. Back to it. So at this point, we just need to do a hit. Easy win. So we've already got a function for this called mob hit something. Okay, so we want to do like an attempt damage entity thing, right? We need to actually figure out, okay, what are the entities that we're damaging right now? Entities. That's it. That's all we need. So for now, I'm actually just gonna make it say, hey, are we the player? For now, we're just gonna do that. But ideally, Big Shrek, he also damages other things like the base, the other enemies around him, if he like accidentally hits them, all the good stuff like that. Because we actually have a property here. It's a list of all the things that we can receive damage from. So I guess we could just say if has prop receive damage from dot Shrek, we could run this. Right? And do attempt damage entity. Yeah, okay, so this is fucked. It's getting a bit convoluted. Like, these are all the arguments for it. It's interesting, to say the least. Randy, you're too argumentative. No, I'm not. I need like a skip damage check in here. So we'll go if skip damage mask can damage true. Yucky. Does the trick. Okay, I have a damage by Shrek in here. Should I just call it Shrek? Yeah, like it's hard to think about this. Like, how do I choose what gets damaged? And how do I define that? Like, where? Let's think like Shrek. How does Shrek choose who he wants to hit. We have like a group of things. And we put that group of things into a single property and we say damage by big thing. But then now that we have the damage by big Shrek, okay, we have to go through, look at all the entities in the game and say, okay, who gets damaged by the big Shrek? You get damaged by the big Shrek. You get damaged by the big Shrek. And so on and so forth. But if we were to flip it on its head and say that we are the entity, how do we choose who we get damaged by? That's the problem here. Is like, am I looking through the lens of Shrek, or am I looking through the lens of getting fucked by Shrek? It's a problem I keep running up into. Like, how do I make a damage system scalable? I think like the answer is like, well, anything can be damaged by anything. It's just some things have like effectiveness, right? And it's like, well, how do I choose the effectiveness? So, I don't know. Well, I guess we can just decide who Shrek damages is right here. Like, that's probably the easiest way of doing things. We just have a list of like who he damages. Who does Shrek damage? Damage effectiveness. We are using damage prop, and we'll say entity props, and we'll say effectiveness is going to be a float. Okay, now who does Shrek damage? Well, we have an array of damage effectivenesses. So we'll say, first of all, we want him to damage the player. But now we can like also pull out this concept of like damage type. Like, this is just me fucking just rolling with things, right? Blunt, slashing, fire, air, water, earth, stuff like that, right? So now the who does Shrek damage becomes what does Shrek damage, not a who, what. Damage, say material type. So we make it as like generic as possible into a system, which is usually like, I don't like doing stuff like this, but for a damage system, it almost makes sense to make this a system instead of like a hard-coded thing. I don't know. This very well could be me just overthinking the shit out of things right now, which let's be real, it is. So material type, we can also have like all this: flesh, rock, metal, wood. That's kind of all I can think of. So what we do now is we say player equal flesh, and now flesh has a list of damage effectiveness. Okay, so it's a against blunt 1.0, something like that, and we can just have like a list of shit. 3 stages of hit feedback: not effective, effective, and extremely effective. What a wonderful kind of day. Damage by Shrek. Probably just do that. Keep it simple. Seeing Randy misspells things brings me a sense of relief of myself. I used to like be so fucking like diligent of like, gotta like spell everything properly, right? And even to this day, I do still do the occasional Google search when I'm like naming a variable. But it's like, who fucking cares, dude? Just program like caveman and get the game done. Can you stop trying to program like mom into the game, please? Okay, so this is advice from a man who knows his shit. Okay, he drew this entire thing, hand painted, frame by frame. It's silky smooth. This is a great example of just getting the fundamentals rock solid. So he says, I know it sounds real boring, but practicing the fundamentals is key. Everything moves in arcing motions. Keeping track of how your body parts move throughout the anim will help you spot and find the jank. All organic things need to accelerate and decelerate, which means moving pixels when starting out of motion and then moving more. Typically, you'd want a lot of anticipation / wind up frames that clearly telegraph enemies' attacks proportional to the damage it will deal. Okay, for playing characters, it typically feels better with fewer or no anticipation frames on actions, makes it feel more responsive. To compensate for that, you need to find ways to convey force in the wind down / follow through. If you want to practice, then I'd recommend doing stuff similar to the ogre: blobs of color separating parts. That's the key here. Blobs of color separating parts. Nice ugly colors. Focus on their motion and silhouette. No need to dabble in per pixel adjustments or detailing. It's important to be able to keep characters on model, making sure it doesn't warp and change over time. Good way but boring to practice that is to draw a character or thing on a turntable, kind of like this, right? That might be a good little practice. There's no 2 ways around it. There's no secret sauce. You just gotta do it over and over again. Put yourself outside your comfort zone if the goal is to improve. Failing a bit is optimal for improvements. There we go. Wise words by the Pixel King. Holy shit. We're trying to do the stomp attack now. So let's go over the stomp. So on frame 9, anim index equal to 9, we're gonna do this. Okay, and we are going to make it a nice little hitbox. All right, a little one of these. Yep. Oh, probably good enough, right? What is that? 47 by 32. 47 by 32. The pivot is bottom left. We do the little range flip thing, and then we shift around, hit the entities, call it a day, and see if this does the stumpy stump. fucking absolutely clapped, dude. All in a day's work, boys. All in a day's work. Thanks for tuning in, boys. Bye bye.
Yo, what's up, boys? This video ended up being pretty long, so we decided to just put the rest of the stuff up on the second channel if you want to go watch it and like close out this arc of the big boss man. I'll see you around.